There's a truth every senior man eventually discovers, but most discover it too late. It's not your age that makes relationships harder after 60. It's not your wrinkles, your slower steps, or the years behind you. No, what makes it harder is the moment you start believing that female attention is rare, that you should be grateful, that you must bend, shrink, and sacrifice just to keep a woman in your life. And that belief is the beginning of every downfall, because after 60, a man's value doesn't fade. It intensifies. Your experience becomes attractive. Your calm becomes rare. Your stability becomes magnetic. Your standards become the one thing younger men can't imitate. But here's the painful truth most senior men never hear. Women don't lose respect for you because of age. They lose respect because you start giving away pieces of yourself just to feel wanted. You stop setting boundaries. You ignore disrespect. You start paying for peace instead of demanding it. You treat attention like a blessing instead of a basic requirement. And slowly, quietly, you disappear inside the relationship. Today, that ends. In this video, we're going to expose the silent traps that drain older men, the psychological patterns that make women pull away, and the 10 rules you must live by if you want love, peace, and respect after 60. Not to become cold, not to become distant, but to become whole again. Because after 60, your time is too short, and your wisdom is too valuable to give it to the wrong woman. Let's begin. Every man over 60 carries a lifetime of lessons. You've survived heartbreak, disappointment, victories, failures, careers, losses, health scares, and moments that forged you into who you are today. But there is one danger that almost every senior man still falls into, a danger more subtle than manipulation, more destructive than loneliness, and more common than anyone wants to admit. It's the silent trap of self-abandonment. And it begins the moment you start believing that you must change who you are just to keep a woman. Most men don't even notice it happening. It's quiet. It's slow. It feels harmless at first. You meet a woman. She's kind. She's affectionate. She brings warmth back into your life. And slowly, without even thinking, you begin to adjust. You cancel a routine to make space for her schedule. You skip your morning walk because she texts you late at night. You stop meeting your friends because she might want to see you. You eat what she prefers. You go where she prefers. Your habits shift. Your days shift. Your sense of self shifts. And one morning, you wake up and realize you've lost the very identity that made you attractive in the first place. This is the silent trap that drains more senior men than anything else. The belief that being chosen is more important than being yourself. But here's the truth no one tells you. A man after 60 is not valued for how much he gives up. He is valued for how deeply he stands in who he is. Your identity at this age is not a negotiation. It is your foundation. You've spent decades building stability, routines, perspective, and groundedness. Those things are not flaws. Those things are assets. They're the very qualities younger men don't have, and the qualities many women seek. But when a senior man abandons them, two things happen simultaneously. He loses himself, and she loses respect. Because respect never comes from sacrifice. Respect comes from strength, from a man who knows what he needs to function, to stay healthy, to stay centered, to stay emotionally balanced. Women don't admire a man who reshapes his entire life around them. They admire a man who can invite them into a life that is already full. Let me tell you something. Every senior man must burn into his mind. When a woman becomes your whole world, she eventually becomes bored. But when she becomes a part of your world, she feels lucky to be there. After 60, your world should be rich, not necessarily with money, but with meaning, with friendships, with habits you've built over the years, with passions that give you purpose, with routines that keep your body and mind steady. These things don't make you less romantic, they make you more attractive, because a woman feels safe with a man who has structure. A woman respects a man who has direction. A woman admires a man who has discipline, hobbies, and an identity outside of her. But when a senior man gives these things up, he becomes emotionally fragile. He becomes dependent on her moods. He becomes reactive to her decisions. He becomes anxious when she pulls away. He becomes a version of himself he doesn't even recognize. That's the real tragedy. Not losing the woman, but losing himself. And the reason this trap is so powerful is simple. Older men fear loneliness more than losing themselves. It's not weakness, it's human. After 60, the world becomes quieter. Kids grow up, friends drift away. Your social circle shrinks, and suddenly the attention of a woman feels precious, even rare. But here's what you must understand. Her presence does not define your value. Your value defines the quality of woman you allow into your life. A senior man with a strong identity is not afraid of being alone, because he is not lonely within himself. He knows what he enjoys. He knows what he stands for. He knows what he will tolerate and what he will walk away from. He knows that the right woman fits into his life naturally, without him having to tear down pieces of who he is. And he knows this one truth that younger men haven't learned yet. Attention is not love, and companionship is not worth the cost of self-respect. So, what does it mean to avoid the silent trap? It means you keep your routines, you keep your friendships, you keep your boundaries, you keep your mission, whatever form it takes at this stage of life. You keep the pieces of yourself you spent decades building. You keep the habits that make you strong, calm, and centered. Because a woman should add to your life, not become your life. And a man after 60 doesn't attract through chasing, impressing, or pleasing. He attracts through presence, through dignity, through the quiet strength of a man who knows who he is and refuses to abandon himself again. This is where your journey begins. Not with a woman, but with you. When a man reaches 60, something powerful happens inside him. He becomes clearer, calmer, more grounded than he ever was in his 20, 30, or 40. Life has carved away the noise, the ego, the illusions. But even with all that wisdom, there are still lines, boundaries that a senior man must never cross if he wants to be respected, valued, and loved in the right way. Because the truth is this: most older men don't suffer because women are cruel. They suffer because they crossed boundaries they should have protected with their life. Let's walk through the 10 boundaries senior men must never break, not as rules, but as hard-earned lessons. Boundary 1. Never abandon your identity to gain approval. Every senior man has a story of giving up too much. The hobbies he once loved, the routines that kept him healthy, the quiet moments that restored his sanity, all pushed aside because a woman entered his life. Women don't respect this level of sacrifice. They respect a man who remains himself. She was attracted to your world, not to the empty space you created for her. Boundary 2. Never invest in a woman before she invests in you. After 60, many men make the same mistake. They treat every woman like a blessing, like a miracle, like a rare opportunity that might never come again. So they overgive, they overshare, they overcommit. But attention is not a reward, it's an asset. And the fastest way to lose value is to give too much, too soon. Give slowly. Observe quickly. Boundary 3. Never ignore disrespect, especially the small things. A sigh, a dismissive tone, a sarcastic remark, a laugh at your boundaries. These moments matter. When you're younger, you can tolerate disrespect and recover later. But after 60, your emotional health is your lifeline. Women don't lose respect because you react strongly. They lose respect because you don't react at all. Silence is not peace. It's permission. Boundary 4. Never let yourself become her financial plan. Many senior men attract women who are kind until money enters the picture. At first, it's subtle. A small bill, a borrow, a gentle request. Then suddenly, you've become the retirement fund for someone who would disappear if the money stopped. Your finances are your freedom, your stability, your protection. If her love depends on your wallet, it isn't love. Boundary 5. Never apologize for having standards. After 60, a man's standards are not preferences, they're survival. You've lived long enough to know what drains you, what blindsides you, and what derails your peace. So why apologize for wanting loyalty, honesty, warmth, consistency? Women admire a man who says, "This is what I accept. This is what I don't. And I'm not afraid to walk away." Standards aren't arrogance. They are self-respect in action. Boundary 6. Never chase a woman who pulls away. Younger men run after women because they're still proving themselves. Senior men don't need to prove anything. At your age, you're not the one being chosen. You're the one deciding. If she pulls away, let her go. Not out of coldness, but out of truth. A woman who values you will never gamble with losing you. Chasing destroys your dignity. Letting go protects it. Boundary 7. Never let her control your emotional state. Some women test emotional strength. They stir jealousy. They go silent. They create uncertainty to see how you react. But emotional chaos is poison for a senior man. At this stage in life, peace is not a luxury, it's medicine. A woman who brings storms into your life is not a partner. She's a burden. A mature man responds with calm, not chaos. Boundary 8. Never sacrifice your well-being to rescue her. Many older men are natural fixers. You've spent decades solving problems, supporting family, and holding others together. But in relationships, fixing becomes codependency. If she expects you to solve her emotions, her money issues, her mistakes. She isn't looking for a partner. She's looking for a father figure, and that role only leads to resentment. Support her strength. Don't carry her weakness. Boundary 9. Never let her isolate you from your world. This trap destroys senior men faster than heartbreak. A woman becomes your center, and suddenly, your friends fade. Your family sees you less. Your routines vanish. Your independence weakens. Isolation is control, sometimes intentional, sometimes unconscious, but it always leads to the same result. The less connected you are, the easier you are to manipulate. A healthy woman encourages your life outside her, not replaces it. Boundary 10. Never give love where you haven't received respect. Love feels warm, but respect feels safe. Without respect, love becomes one-sided, draining, and humiliating. A senior man cannot afford to love first and hope respect comes later. Respect must come before affection, commitment, or investment. If she doesn't respect you, nothing you give will ever be enough. If she does respect you, everything else falls into place naturally. This is the foundation of mature relationships. These 10 boundaries aren't rules to make you hard, they're rules to keep you whole. Because after 60, the goal isn't to impress women, it's to protect the life you've built, and only share it with someone who truly deserves it. There is a moment in every man's life, especially after 60, where he realizes something painful. Women don't respond to how much you give. They respond to the strength behind what you give. Most senior men were raised in a generation where loyalty, effort, consistency, and devotion were seen as the highest virtues in love. You provide, you protect, you show up, you give your heart without hesitation. But the modern world has shifted. Women have more options, more independence, and more emotional awareness than ever before. And many senior men haven't updated the way they approach relationships. The result? A good man becomes a forgotten man. A generous man becomes an exhausted man. A loyal man becomes a used man. Not because women are bad, but because human psychology hasn't changed, even if society has. Women aren't designed to respect sacrifice. They're wired to respect strength, identity, and self-respect. Let's break down the psychology behind that. 1. Women are drawn to the emotional anchor, not the emotional servant. A woman may appreciate your kindness, but she is magnetized by your steadiness. When you're calm, while she's emotional, when you stay grounded, while she's overwhelmed, when you don't react to every shift in her mood, she feels safe. Women respect the man who can hold his center, not the man who abandons it, trying to please her. A senior man's greatest advantage is emotional stability, but only if he uses it. 2. Women test boundaries to understand your strength. These tests aren't always conscious. Sometimes they're instinctive. She may show mild disrespect, cancel a plan, pull away suddenly, go quiet, give mixed signals, push a small boundary, not because she wants to hurt you, but because she wants to see who you are. Women don't test to punish. They test to understand, to know if you're grounded or fragile, strong or reactive, calm or needy. A woman doesn't respect a man who passes every test. She respects a man who passes them calmly, because calmness equals strength, and strength equals safety. 3. Women lose attraction when you make them your purpose. This is one of the hardest lessons for older men. When you center your life around a woman, she stops centering her attention on you. It's not cruel, it's psychological. When you're always available, you become predictable. When you never disagree, you become forgettable. When you stop living your own life, she stops being interested in yours. And when you make her your mission, she loses respect. A woman wants to be chosen, but she doesn't want to be your entire world. She wants to walk beside you, not to replace your identity. 4. Respect grows from clarity, not effort. Older men often think, if I give enough, she'll see my value. If I try hard enough, she'll treat me better. If I show her I care, she won't leave. But effort without clarity becomes servitude. Women respect a man who says, this is what I expect. This is what I will give. This is what I won't tolerate. Because clarity signals strength, and strength signals value. When a man sets standards, a woman relaxes. She knows she is dealing with someone who can lead, not someone who can be led by emotion. 5. Emotional independence is more attractive than emotional devotion. Most senior men think loyalty will keep a woman, but women are far more moved by emotional independence. A man who doesn't panic when something goes wrong. A man who doesn't crumble when she pulls away. A man who doesn't absorb her insecurities as if they were his own. This man feels like home, because she knows, my emotions won't break him. Emotionally dependent men drown women. Emotionally independent men steady them. 6. Women admire the man who chooses himself. This is the hardest one to accept. Most older men stay too long. They tolerate too much. They forgive too easily. They cling to the hope that she will change. But a woman respects the man who walks away when respect dies. Not because he's cold, not because he's bitter, but because he knows his worth. Here's a strange truth. Some women don't respect you until you leave. It's not the goodbye she respects. It's the courage behind it. It tells her, this man has options. This man has dignity. This man is not afraid to be alone. And that's the most masculine energy a senior man can project. 7. Strength is not intimidation, it's orientation. Women don't want dominance. They want direction. A man who knows who he is. A man who moves with intention. A man who leads without force and protects without ego. Strength, at this age, isn't about muscles. It's about your tone, your presence, your boundaries, your ability to stay centered, your refusal to lose yourself again. A woman respects strength because strength creates safety, and safety creates connection. The psychology is simple. Women respond to confidence, clarity, boundaries, emotional stability, identity, standards, self-respect, not to overgiving, sacrifice, pleasing, chasing, insecurity, fear of being alone. Men lose respect when they try to earn love through sacrifice. Men gain respect when they show love from a place of strength. And after 60, your strength isn't loud. It's not aggressive. It's not forceful. It's the quiet power of a man who knows himself and refuses to lose himself again. There's a moment in a man's life, usually sometime after his 60th birthday, when something shifts inside him. He no longer feels the need to prove himself. He no longer chases validation. He no longer competes with younger men. He moves differently, quieter, more deliberate, more aware of what matters and what absolutely does not. That shift is not weakness. It's the birth of a new edge, a masculine edge that only appears with age, perspective, and a lifetime of learning what drains you and what strengthens you. Younger men have energy. Middle-aged men have ambition. But senior men have presence. A depth younger men cannot fake. A calm younger men cannot imitate. A quiet power that comes from having lived long enough to see every pattern, every game, every trick, every mistake, both hers and your own. Let's talk about the 3 pillars of this edge. Calm, purpose, power. 1. Calm, the rarest male energy in the modern world. In today's world, everyone is anxious. Everyone is overwhelmed. Everyone is rushing, shouting opinions, reacting emotionally, drowning in digital noise. But a man over 60? He has something women crave but rarely find: emotional stillness. You don't panic. You don't rush. You don't explode. You don't crumble at the first sign of conflict. You've lived too long to be shaken by temporary storms. When a woman meets a man who carries calmness like armor, she feels something shift inside her. Because emotional calm is not passive, it's magnetic. Calm says, I've seen life. I've survived life. And nothing here scares me. Calm is the most masculine energy in the room. It is leadership without raising your voice. It is strength without aggression. It is confidence without ego. Younger men seek chaos. Senior men recognize chaos and step around it. Women feel safe with that kind of man, and feeling safe is the foundation of attraction. 2. Purpose, the oxygen of masculinity at any age. One of the biggest mistakes senior men make is believing that purpose ends at retirement. That once the job is gone, the mission is gone. But that's not true for a man who stays alive on the inside. Purpose doesn't need to be a career. Purpose is anything that keeps your spirit sharp. Anything that makes you get out of bed with intention. It can be a creative passion, a physical discipline, a community role, a mentorship, a business project, a skill you're mastering, a routine that keeps you grounded, or simply building a better version of yourself each day. A man with purpose walks differently. He speaks differently. He listens differently, because he isn't waiting for a woman to give his life meaning. A woman may complement your life, but she should never complete it. Purpose is what keeps a senior man attractive. It gives your energy direction. It gives your time structure. It gives your life meaning beyond companionship. And women admire men with direction, because a woman can walk beside you, but she cannot lead your life for you. When a senior man keeps his purpose alive, it tells the world, I am still becoming, end quote. And that energy is deeply magnetic. 3. power, not control over others, but control over yourself. By 60, a man learns that real power is not dominance. It's not intimidation. It's not control. Real power is self-governance. Real power is being the master of your emotions, your time, your energy, your standards, your reactions, your boundaries. A young man gets angry. An older man evaluates. A young man reacts to pressure. An older man breathes, pauses, and chooses. A young man lets desire dictate his decisions. An older man lets dignity guide him. And women see this immediately. They can feel when a man is in control of himself. It shows in your tone. It shows in your body language. It shows in the way you respond instead of react. This is why women admire older men, even younger women, not because of age, but because self-control is rare. Discipline is rare. Emotional wisdom is rare, and rarity is attractive. Your power after 60 is not loud. It's quiet, stable, consistent. It looks like not chasing, not oversharing, not explaining your worth, not accepting disrespect, not losing yourself, not being pulled into chaos. Your power is the refusal to abandon yourself again. Your power is the courage to walk away. Your power is the ability to choose peace over drama. And here's the secret younger men don't know. Women fall for men who have power over themselves, not power over women. The masculine edge. After 60 is simple. It's not about muscles, not about money, not about impressing anyone. It's about this: a calm mind, a clear mission, a steady presence, a quiet strength, a self-respecting identity. This is the edge that makes a 60-year-old man more attractive than 30-year-old men with twice the energy and half the wisdom. And when you combine calm, purpose, and power, you become the kind of man who doesn't chase anything, because everything meant for you naturally moves toward you. This is the masculine edge you carry now. All you have to do is hold it. There are 3 dangers that quietly shape the relationships of senior men. They don't arrive suddenly. They don't look threatening. They don't feel like red flags at first. They slip in slowly, gently, even sweetly. And before a man realizes what's happening, he has already paid a price he can't get back. Those dangers are manipulation, financial dependency, and emotional drain. Every senior man must understand them, because they are the 3 most common reasons older men lose their peace, their dignity, and the stability they worked a lifetime to build. And the tragedy is this: most senior men don't fall because of malice from a woman. They fall because they ignore the early signs. Let's break each danger down with the clarity most men wish they had years earlier. 1. The subtle world of manipulation. When affection has an agenda, manipulation doesn't always look like control. Sometimes it looks like kindness. Sometimes it looks like affection. Sometimes it looks like a woman needing you. But manipulation always reveals itself through this pattern. Her needs grow. Your peace shrinks. A manipulated man is not miserable in the beginning. He is needed. He feels useful. He feels appreciated for helping, supporting, giving. But slowly, the warmth of appreciation turns into expectation, and expectation turns into entitlement. She becomes upset when you're unavailable. She becomes distant when you don't give enough. She becomes silent when she wants to punish you. She becomes emotional when she wants something. And you, as a senior man with a caring heart, respond every time, not because you're weak, but because you were raised to be dependable. Here's the truth. A manipulative woman doesn't want partnership. She wants power, not power over the world, power over you. She feeds off your kindness. She uses your empathy. She weaponizes your desire for peace. The cure? Boundaries and distance, not punishment, not argument, not negotiation. Distance. Manipulation cannot survive when you stop responding. 2. Financial dependency. When help turns into obligation, many senior men become targets of unintentional or intentional financial dependency. It begins quietly. I just need a little help this month. Can you cover this bill? I promise I'll pay you back. You're so generous. That's why I trust you. Then it grows. I'm struggling again. You make more money than me. You know I can't do this without you. You don't love me if you don't help. And suddenly, your retirement becomes her lifestyle upgrade. Your savings become her safety net. Your generosity becomes her expectation. Here's what every senior man must understand. If money is the glue in the relationship, there is no relationship. A healthy woman will never anchor her stability to your wallet. She may appreciate support, but she will not expect it. She may accept help, but she will not rely on it. She may enjoy comfort, but she will not demand it. A woman who is financially dependent on you will always have power over you, because once loyalty is tied to money, love becomes negotiation. This is why your finances must remain in your control, not hers, and not the relationship's. Money is not just money. At your age, money equals safety, options, health, stability, and dignity. Protect it. 3. Emotional drain. When a relationship ages you faster than time, a senior man's emotional energy is not the same as when he was 25. Stress hits harder. Conflict feels heavier. Drama takes a toll on your body, your sleep, your mental clarity. And yet, many older men stay in relationships that drain them daily. How does emotional drain start? Not with explosions, not with fights, not with big conflicts. It starts with constant small storms. A woman who is upset every week. A woman who uses silence as punishment. A woman who creates jealousy to test you. A woman who overreacts to minor issues. A woman who can't communicate without chaos. Each storm seems small, but storms add up, and suddenly you're tired in a way that rest can't fix. You're stressed in a way that peace can't reach. You're aging in a way that medicine can't reverse. Emotional drain is the silent killer of senior men's well-being. You must realize, at 60, peace is not a luxury. It is medicine, and any woman who threatens your peace threatens your health, your life expectancy, and your ability to enjoy your final decades. A woman who values you will protect your peace. A woman who doesn't will destroy it. The pattern most senior men miss. Here is the dangerous overlap. Manipulation drains your power. Financial dependency drains your security. Emotional chaos drains your health. These three dangers work together. If you fall into one, you often fall into the others. And here's the harsh truth. Once a woman learns she can drain you, she never stops. Once she learns she can manipulate you, she never changes. Once she learns she can take, she rarely gives back. It is your job, not hers, to protect your life. Because after 60, the cost of the wrong woman is far greater than the pain of being alone. A relationship should extend your years, not shorten them. A woman should calm your heart, not accelerate it. Her presence should feel like rest, not recovery. This is your warning. Not to fear women, but to choose wisely, protect fiercely, and never again abandon the peace you've earned. By the time a man reaches 60, he has learned one truth more clearly than any other. Life is no longer about adding more. It's about protecting what truly matters. Your peace, your finances, your time, your health, your dignity. These 5 things become the pillars of your final and most meaningful chapter. But the modern dating world is not designed to protect senior men. It preys on them. It rewards emotional availability but punishes vulnerability. It praises generosity but exploits the generous. It encourages companionship but hides the cost. That's why every senior man must carry not just boundaries, but protective principles. These principles aren't walls to keep women out. They're filters to keep the wrong woman from entering your life, and the right woman from ever losing respect for you. Let's break them down. 1. Give slowly. Observe quickly. Older men struggle with this, because many of them grew up in a time when commitment was simple. You like her, she likes you, you build something. But the world has changed. Modern dating is filled with performance, masks, expectations, and hidden motives. The woman you meet in the first month is not the woman she truly is, and you are not the man she has fully evaluated yet. This is why senior men must embrace this rule. Give slowly. Observe quickly. Give your time slowly. Give your trust slowly. Give your money extremely slowly. Give your heart after you've seen her reality, not her performance. But observe fast her tone, her consistency, her maturity, her attitude when she doesn't get her way, her respect for your time, how she handles stress, how she disagrees, how she treats people she doesn't benefit from. A woman's truth is not revealed through affection, it is revealed through pressure. The wrong woman falls apart under pressure. The right one strengthens. Your job is not to rush. Your job is to watch. Time exposes everything. 2. Never commit to inconsistency. At 60, a man's time is priceless. You do not have decades to waste on someone who treats you like an option. You cannot afford emotional roller coasters, disappearing acts, or relationships that move like the tide here today, gone tomorrow. Inconsistency is not confusion, it is clarity. It tells you everything you need to know. A woman who is inconsistent with you is consistent with someone else. Her mixed signals are not signals. They are decisions. You're simply not the priority she claims you are. So this principle is simple. If she is inconsistent with you, do not be committed to her. Consistency is respect. Inconsistency is disrespect. And a senior man should never negotiate respect. 3. Maintain your independence at all costs. Women do not fall in love with a man who abandons his life. They fall in love with a man who has a life. Your routines, your friendships, your hobbies, your quiet rituals. These are not things you give up for a relationship. These are the things that keep you attractive, centered, and emotionally healthy. The moment you let a woman become your world, she stops wanting to be in it. Independence is not distance. It is dignity. It is self-possession. It is the reminder that you are not a man waiting to be chosen. You are a man choosing what fits your life. A woman who values you will respect your independence. A woman who fears losing control will attack it. And that difference tells you everything. 4. Never explain your worth, demonstrate it. Senior men often fall into the trap of over-explaining, trying to convince a woman that they're loyal, stable, reliable, or valuable. But worth is not explained, it is shown. A man who respects himself doesn't need to say it. A man who values his time doesn't need to justify it. A man who won't tolerate disrespect doesn't need to warn anyone. He walks away once, and the message echoes. Your behavior is your statement. Your standards are your language. Your silence is your punctuation. A self-respecting man doesn't argue about his value. He embodies it, and women feel that instantly. 5. Stay financially smart. Money is protection at this age. In your 20 or 30, 40, money was power and opportunity. But after 60, money becomes something more valuable. Security. It is your health care, your comfort, your independence, your ability to walk away, your shield against 40 manipulation. This is why emotional loneliness is dangerous. It makes men financially foolish. A senior man must be generous with his heart, but disciplined with his wallet. No shared accounts, no unnecessary gifts. No loans, no help that puts your stability at risk, no financial entanglements without marriage-level trust. Women respect men who protect their money, because a man who protects his resources protects his life. And if a woman gets angry when you set financial boundaries, she just revealed her true motive. The 5 principles form one shield. Give slowly to avoid being fooled. Observe quickly to see her truth early. Reject inconsistency to protect your time. Maintain independence to protect your identity. Stay financially sharp to protect your future. Together, they create a shield that no manipulative woman can break. They also create a foundation for the right woman to thrive with you, because the goal is not to fear women, it's to filter them, so only the one who brings peace, clarity, and warmth gets access to your life. You don't need many women at this age, you just need the right one. And these principles are how you find her, without losing yourself again. There comes a stage in a man's life, usually after 60, when he finally understands the truth the Stoics spoke of centuries ago. Your peace is your power, your discipline is your freedom, your self-respect is your shield. And in relationships, especially later in life, these 3 things become the difference between a man who thrives and a man who slowly loses himself inside the wrong woman's world. Because love at 60 is not the same as love at 20. At 20, you chase excitement. At 30, you chase potential. At 40, you chase stability. But at 60, you chase peace. And peace is the rarest, most valuable currency a man can have. This chapter is not about rules. It's about the state of being a man must carry if he wants true respect, true dignity, and true connection after 60. Let's walk the Stoic path together. 1. The Stoic doesn't chase, he chooses. Younger men chase. They pursue. They compete. But a senior man, he has lived too long, seen too much, and survived enough storms to know that what's meant for him won't require him to bleed for it. The Stoic after 60 does not run after love. He lets love reveal itself. He doesn't beg for attention. He doesn't fear rejection. He doesn't collapse when a woman pulls away. Instead, he says quietly, "What is not for me will fall away. What is for me will come closer." This calm detachment is not cold. It is wise. It is dignified. And women feel it instantly. A man who does not chase becomes the man women lean toward. 2. The Stoic protects his emotional world. A man's emotions after 60 are not young. They are worn, shaped, tested by decades of life. They are precious now. They cannot be given to chaos. The Stoic knows that the greatest threat to his peace is not loneliness. It is the wrong woman. A woman who brings storms into your life will age you faster than time. A woman who brings confusion will drain your mind more than any illness. A woman who plays games will break your spirit long before she breaks your heart. This is why the Stoic sets emotional boundaries like stone. If she yells, he chooses silence. If she manipulates, he chooses distance. If she disrespects, he chooses departure. If she creates chaos, he chooses peace. Because peace is not something you beg for. Peace is something you enforce. 3. The Stoic after 60 values himself above validation. Most senior men make one fatal mistake. They believe female attention is rare, but the Stoic knows this. Attention is not validation. And validation is not value. Your value is not determined by who wants you. It is determined by what you refuse to tolerate. A man who values himself doesn't worry about being alone. A man who values himself is not afraid of walking away. A man who values himself knows, I would rather stand alone with dignity than sit beside someone who disrespects me. Self-respect is not arrogance. It is alignment, knowing your worth and refusing to negotiate it. 4. The Stoic uses silence as strength, not as retreat. There are 2 types of silence a man can use. Silence from fear and silence from power. Silence from fear avoids conflict. It is passive. It is weak. It gives away control. But silence from power is different. It is intentional. It is calm. It is a message. I do not participate in disrespect. I do not argue with chaos. I do not feed emotional games. A woman feels the difference. One silence invites her to walk over you. The other silence forces her to step back and reconsider her behavior. For senior men, silence becomes the strongest boundary of all, because at this age, you don't need to win arguments. You need to win peace. 5. The Stoic accepts loss without losing himself. After 60, men often fear losing a woman, fear of starting over, fear of loneliness, fear of dying alone. But the Stoic knows a deeper truth. The only true loss is losing yourself to avoid losing someone else. If a woman leaves, he lets her. If she chooses someone else, he accepts it. If the relationship ends, he grieves, but he does not break. Because he knows, what leaves your life was not meant to stay. What stays will never require you to sacrifice your soul. A Stoic doesn't cling, he releases. And in releasing, he grows stronger. 6. The Stoic lives with purpose until his final breath. Purpose is the fuel of masculine energy, and purpose does not retire when a man retires. The Stoic continues becoming, not because he has something to prove, but because he has a life to honor. He reads, he thinks, he walks, he creates, he mentors, he sharpens his mind, he protects his body, he elevates his spirit. Purpose gives a man gravity. It gives him presence. It gives him a glow younger men cannot imitate. A man with purpose remains attractive at 60, 70, even 80, because a man committed to becoming will always be more compelling than a man who has stopped living inside. 7. Peace, dignity, and self-respect. The Stoic path after 60 is not about being emotionless. It is about being emotionally sovereign. It is not about rejecting love. It is about rejecting anything that threatens your peace. Peace is your foundation. Dignity is your compass. Self-respect is your shield. Together, they form the final masculine evolution. The man who is too wise to be manipulated, too calm to be provoked, too dignified to be disrespected, and too grounded to ever lose himself again. And here is the deepest truth. When you become this man, the right woman will rise to meet you. The wrong woman will eliminate herself, and you will finally live the years ahead with clarity, strength, and unwavering peace. If you're a man over 60 watching this, listen closely, because this part is for you. You've spent decades giving, sacrificing, and carrying more weight than anyone will ever truly understand. But now this chapter of your life is different. This chapter is not about proving yourself. It's about protecting yourself. It's about guarding your peace, honoring your dignity, and reclaiming the self-respect the world kept telling you to bury. At this age, you don't chase. You don't beg. You don't justify. You simply decide what aligns with your spirit, and you walk toward it without apology. And if someone can't meet you with respect, you let them go with grace, because a senior man who knows his worth becomes untouchable. His presence becomes heavier. His silence becomes louder. His life becomes calmer. If this message spoke to you, don't just listen, live it. Hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. My peace is non-negotiable. Say it, own it, and step into the next chapter of your life as the man you were always meant to be.